Good evening. This is Link Season Master, self-proclaimed crazy person, and goofball extraordinaire. Anyway, for tonight's vlog, which is the second one this week, which I haven't really done at this kind of rate of production since October. So yeah. But anyway, the reason I'm doing that is, well, I saw another film this week, one that I just needed to talk about very, very much. It it was just so genuinely heartwarming and charming. The film is called Sing a Bit of Harmony. And like the movie I saw nights ago, Belle, it it had a good music, it had a good musical bent, and it's pretty darn solid animation from a completely different company. But wow. Anyway, this film, well, honestly, the one trailer I saw for it didn't do a very good job explaining it, so or really showcasing what it was all about. So let me do a little bit better. This film is about an a, a woman has effectively decided to put an AI in a robot. She works for this big company that's responsible for AI and robots, and they decided to give it a little test run, just see if they could spend a school week where the girl does not get figured out that she's not human, aka the AI. Now, the lead scientist is actually however, her daughter accidentally figures out a bit of what's going on with her mother. And then when the girl gets assigned to her class, this AI, well, she very quickly puts together what the heck her mom's up to. So she and a few of her classmates who also accidentally find out what's going on, well, they do their part to help make sure the experiment, aka the AI who goes by the name Shion, does not get found out. Anyway, this film is. How should I put this? This film, to get some of my constructive criticism out of the way, it plays it kind of safe. And there are a few characters, and they don't really do a good job of like, they should have all these characters with unique designs, but only some of them actually get a name. And they clearly have personalities and other stuff going on. Even that, like, they do a good job of making it feel like these are all unique people in design. Not so much in the names and name department, which is kind of a problem. But yeah, like the daughter, Satomi, her classmates, all of, at least the ones who get brought in on this, they're all incredibly likable. Even the one Aya, who I was initially I thought she's gonna be such a problem. No, she and her boyfriend Gochan honestly had the best arcs in the whole movie. And there's also some pretty good foreshadowing here and there. Some with just the right amount of dialogue, and others with just some good visual cues. Like, that's actually pretty good. And it's also just a really appropriate film for younger audiences. I mean, there are probably people who were in the theater with me were probably a little closer to my age, but we all still, maybe some who might have been like a little younger, but yeah, it was pretty funny. It was very heartwarming. It was just a great pick me up, and I want to see more of these characters. I really do. Apparently, it's based on either a manga or a light novel that is still going. At least according to my anime list, because I can't find the records for it on TV Tropes or really other places. I have found on Wikipedia though, which is a good thing, but Wikipedia doesn't even have a plot synopsis yet. Seriously, and honestly, I only just found out about this film through a random thing on, I think it was either Funimation or Fathom Events on Instagram. But more on that later. And there's one other aspect of this film that I really enjoyed for kind of a personal reason. I have a relative who's female and for a long time worked in a big and he had honestly a pretty high position. And then her company got bought by one from Japan, their biggest rival, in fact. And as much as I love a lot of what Japan produces, and there are a lot of their aspects of their culture I adore, they're very, very far behind in how to treat a woman in in a high position in the workplace. If this relative of mine was giving a presentation and they had any questions they wouldn't ask her, they'd ask her boss. If she asked them a question, they'd answer her boss. Now, for a culture that's so famous for politeness and not being rude and not being confrontational, outright treating someone like they don't exist seems pretty darn rude to me. And this film actually acknowledges that. That one of her coworkers, as well as the person she reports to, have issues with, namely the mother, have issues with her. In one case, it's clearly sexism, and in the other case, it's actually ageism. And they don't really do her too many favors in this film. One of them is, in fact, effectively the main antagonist. And seeing said guy kind of see his schemes crumble to dust and by having someone who's actually pretty darn reasonable interact with her at the very end of the movie, I'm like, that is satisfying. Seeing what this relative of mine went through. True, it was over a decade ago that this happened, but seeing this, especially in the light of things like Totally Not Mark, wow, I'm very in favor of this. Seeing them kind of opening up their eyes, awakening to the fact that, yeah, women are just as competent as men. Men, women can. I know plenty of women in my life who are stronger than me, smarter than me, more compassionate than me, and more competent than me. I know plenty of people at this age who are also in all of those categories, as well as sexual orientations and gender identities. I know plenty of people who are not like me and can still beat me in one of those categories. And it's nice to see that being acknowledged here. I just, yeah, I just really like this movie. I think it has, honestly, I feel like this movie is both a great standalone thing, and I feel like it would be such a great setup for either a series of romantic comedies, some goofy four commas, if I'm saying that correctly, like just some. I just want to see more of the antics of the six main characters, just seeing what they get, like seeing Shion learning more and more about about the real world, as well as just seeing this. We got hints of like just how much the AIs are involved in this town. I want more. I want to see more. Not necessarily as a movie, but I think it's just like a fun little romantic comedy. Which I want more. I want more of these characters. Especially seeing if Shion actually ever figures out that what Thunder meant when he asked her out at the end of. Sorry, spoiler warning. I'm trying and I'm still messing up there, but yeah, it work. There is one thing about this movie though that actually really did upset me. Well, and honestly, it wasn't even the film itself. It was the fact that it was a limited screening. Yet again. When I learned that Belle was going to be in theaters for multiple weeks, you want to know what my instinct was? Because even though we made progress, like I'm looking at you, Demon Slayer. Thank you so much. But when I take a look at the reception of, like, when I take a look at at how little marketing, like look, I'm just starting to be trained to keep an eye out for these things. Most people won't know, cause, but Belle, I was shocked when I found out not only all the promos I was, well, not really promos. I was seeing a lot of art for, like a lot of promo posters for it, but I was shocked that not only was it I was in several weeks, but it was in several weeks, and it wasn't based on a big shonen thing, nor did Studio Ghibli have its hands on it. Because I kept seeing G Kids, and I thought, huh, Ghibli? No, this was Madhouse. Bell was Madhouse, and the guy who directed Summer Wars, my favorite film. This, I'll have to look up to see who directed this. I know Madhouse. No, J.C. Staff was the one responsible for this one. But the animation was, like, but this, we're making some progress. If My Hero, if the first My Hero movie, if Demon Slayer, and if this, I mean, if Bell are any indication that people are starting to become more and more willing to actually show these films in American theaters for more than just a handful of nights. But we're still not there yet. Where they're not being treated with the same respect as more Western studios are getting. And I can prove that with one simple example. Josie, the Tiger and the Fish. I did a vlog on that back in July. It still hasn't hit streaming services or even a physical release anywhere in the States yet. And won't until like the 18th of February, which is, if the calendar is to be believed, let's see. We still have 3 weeks until that happens. I don't know about you, but that don't seem right. Especially when Disney films are either hitting even before the pandemic, we're hitting we're getting a digital and physical releases pretty shortly after their film runs, no matter how short they were. That's not the case here. I still want to show people in my family Josie and the Tiger and the Fish, and I'm not going to get another. I'm not going to get an opportunity to do that for quite some time. I don't know. So with this, who knows how long Western audiences are going to have to wait? Because I can't find the light novel or manga anywhere online, at least not on Amazon. And who knows how long it's going to be before this gets a release outside of theaters. Especially since tonight was the only night I could see it dubbed. And unfortunately, the only way I could see it was having to do some serious schedule shuffling, which I do not like doing. Yeah, that more than the film playing it safe and not doing a good job showcasing the names. That is the real issue I have with this. Because otherwise, I needed this film. It, I've had a rough couple of days since I went to see Belle. And honestly, 2 weeks ago was a really rough week for me as a whole. So I honestly need all the stress relief I can get right now. But yeah, I'm really glad I went to see this film. And it's kind of a bummer that a lot of people are not going to get the chance to see this for some time at this rate. We're making progress, but we still have a ways to go. Anyway, that's all I really have to say for now. As soon as the opportunity presents itself, I highly recommend checking out this film in a legitimate manner, because it'll be worth your while. Anyway, thank you everyone. Goodbye. Until next time.